Here in North America, we have a term for a court of law that is both corrupt and incompetent. A court process that is quickly thrown together, is not legitimate, and has no intent of being either fair or just. We call this type of court a kangaroo court, a corrupt system of justice. And that is exactly the kind of court that Jesus faced that Thursday in the wee hours of the morning. A kangaroo court. According to Jewish law, a person had to be arrested in broad daylight. The court could only be convened, during the day. The proceedings had to be opened to the public. The law also required that there had to be 2 or 3 witnesses, and that all of the witnesses had to agree. And finally, that all of the charges against the accused had to be real. The law of God was clear. You shall not bear a false witness against your neighbor. And yet all 4 gospel writers agree that none of these conditions were met. Jesus was in fact standing before the very definition of a kangaroo court. They had arrested Jesus at night and in secret. The proceedings were not open to the public, and the witnesses started to argue with each other. And the charges, everybody knew the charges were false. Now, I don't know about you, but if it had been me they arrested, my protest would have been heard around the city. I would have threatened everybody with a lawsuit, and I would have complained to Herod or Pilate about this injustice. But Jesus, he actually doesn't say a word. He's not going to dignify nor recognize the authority of this court by giving it a response. But then something happens. The high priest asks Jesus a direct question, and it is a question that Jesus can't ignore. The question is the same question everybody's been asking. Who are you? For 3.5 years, everybody's been asking this question, and at first, Jesus was determined to hide his true identity. But not tonight. With the entire fate of the world at stake, Jesus fully reveals who he is. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Creator of heaven and earth, and he sums all of that up with the same words he used to identify himself to Moses. I am. Once again, the scene that night was a representation of the great controversy. Here you have Jesus, who is once again on trial, and once again he stands there true and faithful. Meanwhile, outside the house of God stands one who had claimed to love Jesus, but now betrays him with a lie, in the same way Satan betrayed God with a lie. Inside, Jesus' accusers demand that he prophesies regarding who hit him while he's blindfolded. And yet, at that very hour, a prophecy that Jesus made regarding Peter was being fulfilled. The rooster cries its 3rd cry, and in that moment, the eyes of 2 men met. One, his eyes filled with love and pity, the eyes of the other with shame. Peter flees in shame, and Jesus, he's headed to the cross so that he can save the one who just betrayed him. And again, that was our nugget for today. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow.